I wonder what's on the tube.
Welcome back.
Thank you for being a friend.
What you talking about, Willis?
You are a meathead.
No soup for you.
Adjust those bunny ears!
But don't touch that dial.
Because this is...
Sitcom My Face. I'm Jay.
I'm Nick.
And this week we're talking about...
Kids in the Hall! Death comes to town!
But first, anything exciting in your week? Did you have a good Memorial Day, my friend?
Actually a pretty laid-back Memorial Day.
I went to the flea market, because I'm that guy.
Hey, no problem in that. Hey, you're a four-color demon, you know Walt and the flea markets.
I'm an entrepreneur. My little eBay store, my little Mercari store.
Oh,
Links
yeah,
below.
yeah.
No, just kidding. But yeah, I love going to the flea market, and there's one up here that's a pretty big one. They only do it, I think, 5 times a year. So I got
okay.
Ass crack of dawn and drove the hour to go to that, so that was fun. You didn't do much? Did you cook out or anything?
Oh yeah, actually the one day I made a London broil, but yeah. Other than that, just kind of chilled. Needed the recharge.
What makes it London? You like break your teeth on it?
You
You don't brush for 2 days before you eat it?
Exactly. Yeah, that's well. You have it with the spot of tea. You know.
Well, I sent you the clip because I thought it was so funny. We talked about living single last episode.
Yep.
And we talked about how
Overton
was very much like Ed Norton from Honeymooners.
Yep.
And then I've watched almost the entire first season now, so that's almost 27
damn,
episodes.
Nice.
I was doing some cleaning and rearranging for about a week there, and watched a shit ton of Living Single. But that all of a sudden I heard him like it was in the background. I hear him doing an impression of Ed Norton. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And I go back and I rewind it, and they're literally sitting in front of the TV.
Watching the Honeymooners.
They're watching I Love Lucy, and she's like, "Let's watch the Honeymooners instead." And he goes, "Oh yeah, my boy Norton."
Yeah.
Hey, LB. I was like, "What the fuck? We were right." I sent it to you immediately. I was like, "We called it."
Oh yeah, that was so great.
I wondered if you had seen that episode and just.
Yeah, it's one of the ones I had seen way long ago, but I forgot about that. It's
like,
just
what are the fucking odds?
Yeah, it's just the fact of, as part of Sitcom My Face, we've watched The Honeymooners, so it's like, hey, you know what? Overton kind of is like a smart Ed.
That was a burglar episode. That was a really good episode. It's in the first season. I think it's just called The Burglar or something. But we also talked about Overton, how we wanted to see him more. I guess he was in a serious accident that left him with some issues, and it was during the Hughleys. So he did have reconstructive surgery, but I think it did a toll on his body.
Oh, that sucks.
So I think that may have something to do with why we don't see him anymore.
Okay, yeah, because I was wondering, like, again, he was my favorite character from that show.
John Henton, yeah, but he had to have reconstructive surgery on his face, and his legs were, I think, both broken at one point.
Damn. Oof.
But and one other big announcement I had was we hinted at the Mayberry Man thing.
Yes.
I couldn't say it yet because they hadn't announced it last episode, but
you have some news for us.
Is strangely enough getting a sitcom kind of show.
Sweet.
What are the odds? I worked on this movie. Go listen to our Andy Griffith episode.
Mm-hmm.
It is very good, if I must say so myself. But we discussed this movie Mayberry Man that is loosely based on Mayberry and the Andy Griffith Show, and kind of centers around these festivals or events they have every year. Yeah,
like convention, so. Like just like Comic-Con and like Gathering of the Juggalos. You have the Mayberry.
So they did a movie based on a show, and now they're doing a show based on the movie based on the show. So, and they've asked me to
follow the logic,
take part in some way, so.
Or try.
They invited me back. I don't know what degree. I think I'm only in the movie for 4 scenes or something. But hey, I'll take anything. I'm a hoe. So
sweet. Looking forward to seeing you.
yeah, looking forward to doing Mayberry Man the series. It's called right now. So
Sweet.
this could be for streaming. We don't know which one yet, but
Well,
look forward to that.
If people want to catch Mayberry Man now, I think is it still on Prime?
Yeah, it's not free on Prime. It's available for purchase or rental on Prime.
Got it.
And you can go to their website. I think it's just mayberrymanmovie.com will lead you to the merchandise site. Or they're doing weekly updates. They're actually live right now on their YouTube every week.
This.
So.
But
yeah.
This week, Kids in the Hall. What familiarity do you have with the Kids in the Hall before Death Comes to Town?
Kids in the Hall was a sketch comedy show that started in Canada in 1989? I think it was 89 to 95, I believe.
Right.
So this is a great opportunity because we probably won't cover the actual sketch show, so we're going to work a lot of that into here as like a loophole. And they were just talking about shit that no other show really talked about. And I didn't realize when I was watching it, probably 15, 16 on Comedy Central, that this was something that originally aired on HBO. Yep. So I don't know if anything was cut out from the Comedy Central airings. Because I remember a lot of nudity and shit like that. They're like their bare asses and stuff that just
that
you don't really see in the afternoon screenings.
and so, on a couple of occasions the vulgarity went a little higher than your shit.
I remember them saying like the word "cum" on TV, and you're like, "What the fuck? You can do that?" Oh my god, they said "cum" on there.
But
weird. And the sun's still up.
It's like now, do you have any memories, like particular sketches of Kids in the Hall that were like?
Well, of course, just the tone in general was so wacky and fun, and I remember of course, everyone remembers I'm squishing your head.
I'm crushing your head.
And you're crushing your head.
You're nothing but brain juice.
I remember that character. The drag thing was always pretty funny because it was like they were so interestingly open and fluid, kind of about sexuality, and of course one of the members was very homosexual, so there was a lot of him.
Yeah, Scott Thompson. Yeah.
Yep, great. I remember a lot of him almost taking it upon himself to sit down. You're the audience, you're the camera, and he's like, "Let's break down the word fag," and like just stuff you didn't see before that. At least for me.
Yeah, like the way things were presented was definitely a different way than what we were used to. I think
you're shocked that they just said that word.
Yeah.
And then second, you're like, this is a gay man telling you his plight, but not preaching to you, being fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating to watch,
That was the great thing. It was all, there were some heavy things on occasion, but it was all presented in such a humorous fashion that it's like, oh, okay, I dig it.
I don't remember, especially for a sketch show, any of them tackling stuff like that.
God,
like, were there a lot of abortion sketches on SNL that
No, not that I'm aware of.
Stuff like that, you go, holy fuck.
Yeah. I think a couple of my favorite sketches, though, were they were Bruce McCullough-centric. And I remember a sketch where it's a racquetball league. And I think it's actually, I don't know if it was Scott Thompson or Mike McKinney. It's like, who's this next I'm playing? Like they were doing a tournament. And it's like, who's Eradicator? And it's Bruce McCullough in a ski mask that has a skull and crossbones on it, and he just goes, Eradicator! So just to basically cause fear in the other people that they don't even want to play him. But then Kevin McDonald winds up playing him and just like beats the hell out of him. It's like, oh no, you did good. And he's like, Eradicator. Eradicator.
I have I think it's the box set of the first 2 seasons on DVD, but it's been a while since I really revisited it, and we were looking for it on Prime, but the original series isn't on Prime. The new one is, I think, one of their movies, and then the series we watched.
Yeah, the movie is Brain Candy, and if you watch the beginning of the new season, there's a heavy allusion to brain candy. But I'll leave it at that.
So I watched the documentary that's called Comedy Punks, I think it was. Yeah, Comedy Punks. It's a 2-hour, 1 hour each 2-part documentary, kind of about from their early start to the end. And if you are into, even if you're just into sketch comedy, it's a pretty fascinating documentary on just the way comedy works, especially for those kind of people, your Second City people and stuff like that.
Right.
But I had not realized how closely related Kids in the Hall is to SNL. Like, Lorne Michaels had a huge hand in this show.
Yeah, no, that was another Lorne Michaels show.
He sent scouts
Michaels
up
show.
to Canada to look for people at Second City, and they said it just happened that their show had just kind of taken off on the stage, so they were on the front page of the paper at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the same time the scouts come into the city, they're here for Second City, and they see the paper, and they go, well, I guess we got to go see these fuckers. You know, they're here.
Basically, they were their own comedy troupe, rather than hitting say Second City or the Groundlings or like any of them.
Did you? One interesting thing I found was why they named it the Kids in the Hall. Did you ever?
No. What's the
so them
behind
being
the name?
huge, them being huge comedy fans, they were big fans of the Jack Benny program.
Okay.
And I guess way back in the, what was that, 50s probably, maybe 40s even.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the radio show was probably the 40s, I would think.
Yeah, radio show, I think 40s, but yeah, Jack Benny definitely was on TV as well.
The show was so big that people wanting to be comedy writers would show up at the studio and they would hang out outside the offices and try to sell jokes to Jack Benny.
Oh my
for
God.
The show. And they began referring to them as, hey, those kids in the hall, go get the kids in the hall and see if they got anything good for us tonight or whatever. And these guys, being huge comedy fans, were like, let's be, how about the kids in the hall?
Oh, nice evolution of the name there.
And Brian, I think, was like, I fucking hated it. He's like, I fucking hated that name. I thought it was the stupidest shit ever. But then it took off, so.
But, yeah, it's like, yeah, so the kids in the hall, for those that also don't know them, there are a couple of the people there that you will recognize from other projects, too, such as Dave Foley.
News Radio.
News Radio, yep.
Show that actually destroyed Kids in the Hall. As you learn in that documentary, that they hated him so much.
Oh, wow.
That's why they basically broke up, is because he went off to do this show on his own. Mm-hmm. Although 2 of them were scouted for SNL. 2 of them went to SNL to write, and they were writers there for a year. And they didn't love it, and I think they were like, oh, we failed here, and they left.
Yeah, I want to say, actually, McKinney may have been on, what do you call it?
He was a cast member later, I think.
Yeah, later. Now, Kevin McDonald, you recognized him from another show. What was that?
That 70s show. He's the pastor. Pastor Dave or something? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was on, I don't know, maybe a handful of episodes, but whenever they'd go to the church or they'd need the pastor to talk to Eric, he would be the one that shows up. Well, scrawny, curly-haired guy.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, yeah. So we got Dave Foley, Bruce McCullough. He seemed to be featured in a lot early on. And Kevin McDonald, Mark McKinney, and Scott Thompson. Those were, the kids in the hall.
Scott was the last one to join. They said that they had the 4 of them, and they said that we thought we were good, but there was something missing. And they said as soon as he came in, he was it. He was the glue that kind of.
I could see that too. Just going into some of those sketches that he did also, or like what you said, like he's just like doing a whole sit down and okay, let's talk.
Well, they said his energy was so crazy on stage that it amped them up, and they had to keep up because he'd come out and he'd steal all the laughs, and they'd go, "Fuck you, bro," and then they'd pump it up, It was really funny in that doc to hear them talk about each other, because they do talk like 5 brothers who are like, he's a fucking asshole. That guy's a fucking douche, He's a mouthy little prick, so he always wanted to have it his way, and then it cuts to the other one, and he's like, oh, fuck that asshole. I wanted this, and he wanted that. And it was kind of funny. Really, really interesting.
So
But yeah, I guess when he went off to do news radio, it broke the whole group up. They all hated him. Because they had a tour, and he was like, "I'm doing this pilot. I don't give a fuck what you say." And then of course that show goes forever.
Yep.
And I think they didn't talk for a lot of years. I think it was 5-6 years that news radio went. I want to say 5.
yeah, I want to say 5
But-
because again, like after the passing of Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman. They did. We'll
But
get
now-
to news radio, kids. But if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out.
Oh yeah.
Phil Hartman was a brilliant on there, and fortunately, that was his last show before he was
Correct.
killed by his
Yeah.
own wife.
But getting to this strange miniseries sitcom of a thing. Apparently,
I found this one day on Amazon Prime a couple weeks ago, and I just started watching it. I was like, "Kids in the Hall, 2010. What the fuck is this?"
right?
And according to the documentary, this was the first thing after they had all fucking hated Dave, and they didn't talk for years, and they all kind of rekindled slowly but surely. And they said they started hanging out, and they were like, maybe we can do something again. And Scott had been diagnosed with cancer and was dying basically at the time of this
Jeez.
show. He thought he was going to be dead. He is thankfully not dead.
Correct.
But at the time of shooting this, he was going through crazy surgeries and chemo, and this was kind of his, I want to do one last thing with my boys.
Yeah, a last hurrah with
So
the
he
gang.
is,
Yeah.
he plays the coroner on this show, and he's bald, and that's for a very good reason. Now we know. I didn't know that while watching it.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and also not only that, he also plays Heather Weather, the weather girl.
Yeah,
with the wig.
why don't you give the premise? Why don't you give the whole premise of the show real quick, like a quick couple of lines?
Okay, so we have Shuckton, Ontario, Canada.
Little town, Shuckton, small town, big heart.
Yeah, small town, big heart, and they're vying for the 2028 Olympics, and it gets rejected, and soon after, the mayor of Shuckton, Larry Bowman, and who's also the coach of the hockey team, he's killed. So
And you have kind of a murder mystery, which is fun.
yes, you have a murder mystery, but one of the other things along with this is the embodiment of death.
Of death, the Grim Reaper is
The Grim
literally
Reaper
a character
himself.
in the show,
Comes
and a ridiculous, hysterical.
yes, comes to town and stays at the No-Tell Motel.
Well, I mean, I'm the one who told you to watch this, so I
Yes,
kind of want to know
well-
your thoughts on this and what you felt watching it.
I have to say, I was very pleased, to, if you want to say, be reintroduced to the Kids in the Hall humor, but coming from this weird angle of, as you were explaining it to me, it's basically they're playing most of the characters in this show. There are
It's an 8 episode like mini series sitcom
yeah.
where they play the entire cast basically, except for maybe like 4 or 5 different characters.
Yeah, there's a few characters. There's a kid, Rampop.
He's a little witch boy. They use the word a lot, retarded.
Right.
Again, one of those things where you go, there's some shit on this show where you just probably couldn't. They use the R word, they use the F word, the gay one I mentioned earlier.
Yep.
They do some trans jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I
Actually,
also-
on a few occasions, actually, it's like, ladies, gentlemen, and trans members of the community, and they focus on one person.
Well, I think one of the early episodes, if I remember right, too, they say something about trans, and the camera awkwardly moves to the mayor's wife, who's Dave Foley, and she's kind of looking around, almost implying that she is.
Right.
But that's also her kid, so it's like, well, I don't know, whatever. But you have Scott Thompson. One of the characters he plays is a Native American, and there's a lot of think.
Yeah.
Actually, let's say probably because it's a mystery, I would say let's leave the mystery. Let them watch it, right?
Yeah.
Not spoil the final.
Oh
who the
no,
killers or
we won't
killer
go
is,
into the final, but yeah.
We'll talk about the show. It's 8 episode.
Right.
And it's all on Prime, and it's from 2010. Now, I was curious, did you find where this aired at all? Was this a Canadian show?
It looks like it was aired on the CBC.
CBC?
Yep.
Okay. Because I was like, how the fuck did I not hear about this? Because 2010, if I knew about a Kids in the Hall revival, I would have been all over that shit.
Mm-hmm. Same here. So we have Death That Has Come to Town. You know,
he's staying at the no-tell motel.
Staying at the no-tell motel.
And basically, he's got this little skeleton hand hangs around his neck. That's his cell phone type pager kind of thing.
Yeah,
And whenever it goes off, it's like, you got work to do, bitch. And it'll be like, you got to kill this person at this time.
Yep.
There's a character named Ricky who's this like fat boy.
Oh,
and
not fat, like over 600 pound.
Right.
And
former high school hockey star or something.
Yeah, and I love the setup that he has. Like, you know, he's there. He's just like planted on the couch watching TV.
Got all the strings and shit.
And he's got like the pulley system of all these things. And then he's got like on a stick. He's got like a hockey glove that he uses to like at the one point. He's trying to figure out the murder mystery, and he has a magic marker in it, and he's like circling on the screen.
He's so big he can't get off the couch when the show begins. Yeah, he's got a pulley for everything. Like he wants a sandwich, and it's like pull this fucking thing, and the sandwich like slides down or whatever. And you gotta get my pants. Gotta get my pants on. He pulls the lever, and like the pants come out. and also, how much fucking work would it be to set all that up? You gotta get off that couch to do that.
Yeah. Or somebody. Like is good with those Rube Goldberg devices, and it's like, yeah, comes by the house, sets up, and leaves.
Later on in the series, we find out there's a connection between Death and Ricky, which is fucking hysterical. But through the whole show, you don't know why, but Death really wants fucking Ricky dead. To where
yes.
Death himself is standing outside Ricky's window going, "I'm coming for you, fat boy."
Yeah,
fat boy. And
sending doing like him a little dance.
Sending him giant fucking pizzas and shit.
Yeah, like 7
Your
pizzas.
heart's gonna give up sooner or later, Ricky. Oh my god, it's so funny.
Choke on the cheese, fat boy.
Oh man, yeah. There's so much going on in this show that really just it's only 4 hours. It's like all 8 episodes. It's only 4 hours. It's a nice little. For me, it breezed right by too. It's such an easy watch. It's so
easily digestible.
It's laugh. Like there's not a minute that goes by that I wasn't almost belly laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that was because it was actually hysterical or some things were like, that was so fucking dumb that I'm gonna laugh anyway.
Well, that's the thing. It's a combination of like, oh my god, that was so well, like done, and something. It's like, oh god, that's so idiotic that you can't help but laugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Larry Bowman is killed, and so there's the big murder mystery, and there are many suspects. One of them being his wife Marilyn,
who for some reason gets to just become mayor. She inherits the mayorship in this small town.
Yes, this was one of the great things. It's like he gave like
in the will or something.
In the will, the best part was when the guy, the probate or whatever, is like, okay, we're gonna we have a video of Mayor Bowman reading the will. And you think it's like reading the will aloud. It's like, no, he's just reading the will. It's a video of him just like reading. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, as part of the will, his wife becomes mayor. Rampop gets his butterfly collection. Now, you want to explain the interesting thing about Rampop and the butterflies?
He sees people as like animated butterflies, which this show does this brilliant thing because there's a murder mystery thing. I gotta tell you, I've never seen a murder mystery told in this way, where this boy witnesses a murder, but all he sees is 2 animated butterflies, and one's beating the other one to death. And then it's thrown off a balcony.
Oh god, yeah, we haven't even gotten to that one yet. But that one was so freaking hysterical. I had to stop.
You're watching it, and that's their way of concealing who the murderer is, because you're seeing it as this little boy who sees just an animated butterfly. So you still don't know who it is. It's so fucking funny. And I was like, I've definitely never seen that before.
And the other great thing is the fact of, again, the mayor is bequeathing his butterfly collection to Rampop, and when he looks at that, it looks like people in a glass container instead of the butterflies.
Yes, this is the special boy.
Yeah, and he basically speaks in like beep bap, like little beeps and the.
But he can speak telepathically to Death.
Yes,
himself.
yes, Death.
Actually, the first time I was really confused because the first time they do that,
I
I
thought
he called him Dad.
And same thing. I thought he said, "Did he say Dad?" I was like, "Oh no,
Did he call
Death."
Death, Dad.
Okay.
But he just the way he says Death, it like condenses, I think, the end there, so it sounds like Dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Death.
And let's see, who else do we have on the list of crazy characters? We got Marnie, who is the delivery driver for the local pizza parlor,
pizza place, and also like bestie to Ricky.
To Ricky, yeah,
helps out with his morbid obesity. It just brings him food and helps him with shit.
Yeah, so because apparently, yeah, like she's always bringing him extra pies, like I guess at the end of the day, but at one point, Death orders 7 pies for Ricky. It's like, no,
like
someone
when he's
ordered
pissing on the lawn, he
you.
just pisses flames on the lawn.
Oh yeah, and it spills out dye.
Yeah. You have the news team, which is pretty funny. Again, remember, every time there's a woman, most of the time it's these men.
Yeah, and it's Channel 9 breaking news.
Mm. You have the news team. You have 2 women who are kind of, one's the main news girl and the other one is the weather girl, kind of competing for that head. With Heather Weather, you said was the
Heather Weather was
girl.
The weather girl, and the other one was Corinda Gablechuck.
And then you have Foley playing kind of the head of the on location news team who just doesn't give a fuck. He's just like,
exactly.
I hate my job. I hate all of you.
Leave on. Do something.
You have the camera / boom guy who's Kevin, who is having an affair with the newswoman.
Yep.
And she ends up becoming
Shay.
impregnated. She ends up becoming pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this whole again, you have abortion as like a subplot in this thing, which in multiple ways this abortion is a subplot.
But the great thing, why she became pregnant was what did he use when they went to the no-tell motel to have sex?
He didn't have a condom, so he used shower cap, was it?
Yes, a shower cap. Yeah. He's like, I thought that was what it was for, eh?
I thought it's made of the same thing, ain't it?
It's made of the same thing, ain't it?
This show has got so much going. Like I said, it's got abortions, it's got necrophilia. We haven't even got to that yet.
Oh,
the mayor's
no.
dead, and the town coroner, old Scott, there,
yes,
fucking the dead mayor's corpse.
Yeah, well,
did it insinuate that they had a history at all, or did he just fall in love with them? Or
he just fell in love with them because, at the end, it's insinuated it's like, oh, I guess that was just a one-way feeling there.
Oh my god, yeah. So the coroner takes the mayor's body and is
he doesn't
making out with it. He's giving it BJ's, and eventually,
he pours him a glass of brandy or whatever.
He's like no, his eyes were closed, right?
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you're so handsome. You need another drink," and he's just pouring him drinks and shit.
Let me top you off.
He takes his pants down and goes, "Oh, thank God for rigor mortis." You go, "Oh, God." You go, "What the fuck?"
Exactly. But
not where I expected that storyline to go at all.
Oh no. Yeah, I love though when they're burying the mayor, it's like, hey, this casket feels kind of light. and then you see the coroner with the mayor, because he actually didn't perform the autopsy either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's another the Native American, fake Native American character he plays.
Krim.
Krim, yeah, is accused of the murder because they find him covered in blood. So he's on trial, which is another great whole episode or two of the court case,
mm-hmm.
where you have all these different actors playing these different parts in the courtroom, and there's the running joke with the judge's gavel, which was just so fucking
someone
stupid,
keeps stealing his gavel. So it's
like someone stole my gavel.
My first string gavel.
secondary.
This is my second string gavel.
Yeah. So then the next day they're in court. Now the second string gavel is gone.
He has a hammer, and then the hammer, like
His wife needs the hammer to
his
build
wife
a
needs the
birdhouse.
hammer, so he's got a flute.
He's got a fucking flute. He's banging on the thing with. He's like, order in the court. So dumb, but so funny.
Exactly. Oh, and
when the murder happens in the courtroom, they just continue having court, but they have it taped off with caution tape and just
Yes.
like a, not even a chalk outline, but like a tape outline.
a
where
tape
in
outline
the seating area.
that goes over a couple of the seating areas.
The seats in the court. Oh my god, so.
Oh, and then there was Kevin McDonald as the public defender with the cat Buttonhole. That's 32 and just wants to die.
There's a suicidal cat who's like on life support who just wants to die. He says, the cat, mind you, says, "I'm so old I learned to talk. Just kill me." And again, they have Foley playing the cat nurse, who's like a Mexican woman. So there's another like,
Yeah,
probably couldn't do that. Anyway.
Yeah, and the way he's talking,
Yeah.
he want die.
Yeah.
It's like no.
She comes in and she's like, "Look, he made a noose out of his IV cord." Tried to hang himself, and they're like, "Oh, how silly." He's like, "How silly he is."
Oh God.
Oh man, there's so much comedy gold in this show that I don't think we could ever do it justice. I think you just have to do yourself a favor when you're bored one day and just sit down and watch these 8 episodes. They're only like 23 to 26 minutes apiece.
Yeah, so it's less than 4 hours.
I love how you're watching it and you go, the Native American portrayal is a little racist, so they throw in the real Native American guy.
Yeah.
So like, maybe if the audience thinks this guy's okay with it, they'll be okay with it. Where he's like,
exactly.
He goes, that guy's Native. He looks pretty white to me. Like shit like that.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Also, that Krim, he says he's 1/16. What is the term that they use in Canada? First Nation. That's what they.
Yeah, because when he gets convicted, the Indian guy, Native American guy, is like, "Oh no, my 1/16th brother." Oh man, yeah. There's.
Oh. Now,
I'm glad that you appreciated it as much as I did. I was fucking rolling on this thing, and there's not much like it. And it is interesting coming from a sketch background. I expected it to be more vignette-y, but it is a whole-fledged story. Like it's a very funny, big world that they've built in this little show.
Yeah, so they've built this nice, world. The town of Shirkton, Ontario.
That one line the cops have. He's like, hits real close to home, where he's like, women who have calypso ringtones. He's like, those are the whores? Yeah. Women who have classical ringtones, those are the ones you marry? Yep. Stupid little
Oh my
shit.
God. And those police officers, that's Bruce McCullough and Mark McKinney. Oh my God, they're so freaking funny. And I believe that they also show up on the new season, too. The new season of Kids in the Hall. Those two...
Oh. Do you remember what death does to the souls when they die?
Yes, that's one of the other craziest things. he first shop vacs them.
Because when they die, their soul comes out of them like in a smoke cloud, but then it kind of falls into a dust.
Dust, yeah. So what he does is he has this little shop vac thing that he gathers the dust. Then he lines it up and does lines with their
fucking
soul.
Snorts their soul like it's cocaine, and then he's like dancing around and shit. Like, well, what does Death wear? What does Death wear in this show, Nick? What the fuck is he?
I don't know how you describe it. And
he's got like a leather, kind of like a leather vest with like leather thong almost. Like he's barely wears any pants.
Yeah, like with like a giant codpiece type of thing there, but
right. And then like a big leather cape, but then he'll do like a snap and he's wearing like a hoodie to try to like blend in. But
that's the great part. It's like I don't know how much different really going one to the other is really doing for you, dude.
He's got no teeth except in the top except for one
hanging.
Butt, dude. Death's got a thing for fat girls in this show.
No. Chubby redheads.
Chubby redheads.
Chubby redheads.
And his drink of choice is owl's blood.
Yeah,
he goes to the bar, and the guy goes, "Oh, you look kind of familiar. You used to come in here." He's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Like, what was your drink?" And he's like, "Owl's blood." And he goes, "Oh, I got some right here."
Yeah, well, first he's going through all the different drinks, like, no. It's like, oh, what was it? It's like, owl's blood. Hey, look, I got some right here.
Oh man,
yeah. I love when he goes home or goes to the no-tell motel with those two redheads. He stops at Ricky's and pees fire to spill out dye, and then the one girl goes to the other one. I'm not putting that in my mouth.
You're right. That's the ones he wakes up with, right? And
yes.
He shows them the phone screen. He's like, "All right, get out." And they're like, "Oh, I never leave till my man makes me a poached egg." And he does this thing whenever someone's like going against him to like brainwash them almost. He shows them his little skull phone. His little,
it's like a screen.
Skeleton hand phone. Yeah. And they always describe what they're seeing, and it's always like horrible shit. So what did they say when he showed him?
And it's like something like the pits of hell or something. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like later on, he shows it to the cops at one point, and the two one guy's like, "Oh my god, I'm seeing my own conception," and the other guy goes, "Mine's even worse. Mine's the day before my conception. It's my dad just jerking off."
Oh god. Oh, and we're missing another character. Being that you've mentioned the word, Dave Foley is also Doc Porterhouse, who is.
Yep.
You want to say it?
Well, are we going to say abortionist?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
He's the town abortionist. It's all like, what?
It was almost hard to keep track of who's playing who in this show because they do feel so different.
Yeah, no, they played their characters well. So well. It was actually a real difference between, even if it's the same actor playing, like, in a scene with themselves type of thing.
One of the women is accused of being the murderer at one point, and the cameraman comes to the defense with this video, and he's like, he goes, I have the alibi. I have proof that she's not the killer, and shows this video of her going, "God, I wish she was dead. I'd kill the shit out of her if I could. I fucking hate her."
But she's saying it with the timestamp.
The timestamp was the time of the murder, so they're like, this is the first time that someone saying they want to murder somebody is actually their alibi for not murdering somebody. Because they were saying it at the time that the person was murdered. So funny. So stupid and funny.
Oh.
The show is just full of jokes like that where they're almost, some of them are so smart they just kind of roll over you.
Yeah.
And then some of them are so stupid that they slap you in the face and you go, "Oh, I forgot what I was watching." The last two episodes, you learn a lot about connections in these characters and what's real and what's not and who did what. And I think those are very important to leave for people to give them that little final, what the fuck is going on here? Yes, I should have made a power shake for the show. Remember what a power shake is for the mayor's wife?
Oh, well, God. Later, that was the great thing also. Yeah, she's the new mayor, and she is like
a raging alcoholic,
full-time alcoholic. It's just
cheers. She goes, "I'll take a power shake," and he goes, "Is that still a quadruple martini?" And she goes, "Of course it is." Without spoilers, there's a very funny joke about being put to death by using your epilepsy.
Oh my God! Yes. I couldn't believe it.
So the show does have a cameo by the man in the towel, which is the producer of the movie, the show, the new show, I think still. Mm-hmm. But he
actually shows up in the new show too. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's their longtime producer. I think he was even there in the documentary. It showed him recording their early stage performances. So he's been with them for a long time.
Now, question: when recording their performances, was he also wearing a towel at that time?
No, he was not.
Oh,
He was
okay.
not. But he was on 14 episodes of the original show, and then he had that little cameo in here when they're at the ATM or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then let's see. I'm just trying. I think we actually. Oh no! Wait, hold on. Bruce McCullough, Big City, the prosecuting attorney, who has his own like intro music.
Yeah. He's this real flashy attorney who's just like, "Hey, everybody!" and he like dances in, and everyone in the audience is like dancing to him.
And it's like,
He used a lot of Johnny Cochranisms in his.
yes. And I'm trying to remember who it was that he did a thing. It's like he just went like, like he just like put his hand up like towards the one guy's face. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And like you said, he used the Johnny Cochranisms, and but at the same point, he didn't take the time to like really like go into the full case of it. It's like, yeah, the prosecution calls that guy. I don't know his name, but yeah, that guy over there.
I would say, even more than the sketch shows, I think this is a brilliant introduction for new people. Like if you're
Yes.
kind of curious
About the kids in the hall.
because this is a more structured, normalized style of a show.
Mm-hmm.
I think this would be a great way to introduce anyone to Kids in the Hall. And if you like this style, you're probably going to like their sketch shows
Yes.
as well. So, personally, if you're listening to this or you're watching this and you've never seen anything from them, I would highly recommend this show particular to start with. On Amazon Prime, it's called Kids in the Hall, Death Comes to Town. Don't get confused because there's 12 different things on there with Kids in the Hall on it.
Right, and yeah, including the new series,
New series,
the new season of the new
I think
series.
the movie is on there. The Brain Candy's on
Brain
there.
Candy as well.
Yeah, there's so much to love about this show. I think it's such a unique, and I'm glad they didn't keep going with it. I'm glad it's.
I'm glad it was just like its own thing. This 8-part. That's it.
It's a little standalone, little brilliant piece of comedy that I didn't know existed. Apparently, it aired in Canada, and now it's on Amazon Prime. So there is a DVD that I will track down. I will track the DVD down because I want it.
Awesome.
I want to own it. I want it on these shelves. It needs to be here. As well as, I guess I have to buy the DVDs for all the old sketch show because if it's not streaming, I'm going to have to buy it.
I know that's the thing that still annoys me. That only part of season 2 is streaming, and I think that's on. Is it on Hulu? No, I don't think it's on Hulu. I think it's on Roku. That
was the other thing we learned in the documentary is that it was canceled by HBO after one season.
Which I didn't know.
Lauren Michaels from SNL,
Mm-hmm.
executive producer of SNL, who helped get the show on the air, fought for them. Basically, went in there and was like, "Hey, this is gold. You need to continue with this." Do you remember how we talked about the Ben Stiller show and how it was canceled?
Mm-hmm.
And then they won like
an
the
award.
best.
Yeah.
They won an Emmy or something for like outstanding comedy series or something after they were canceled.
Yeah.
Well, Kids in the Hall, after that one season, canceled, and they won a Cable Ace Award.
Oh, okay.
So that was one of the things that Lauren went in with to HBO. Was like, you just canceled the show that's winning awards now? Like, are you out of your damn mind? So that helped to get the show back on the air as well. But weird. Here's your not so fun fact of the day that I learned about old Scott Thompson here.
Oh no!
Not only did he survive cancer, he actually survived a school shooting.
Oh my God!
Which these days is incredibly,
unfortunately, common
and very relevant, especially now.
I was going to say it's not common up in Canada, but
exactly, that's the weird thing. And the shooting, the school was the Brampton Centennial Secondary School, and it was one 16-year-old. He killed 2 people and injured 13.
Ooh.
And then he himself was killed.
Okay,
but I guess he was acting out against the school board he hated a teacher or 2 or something. I don't know, but yeah. So Scott talks about during the time they were making Death Comes to Town, he had just basically been told he was going to die from cancer because this cancer, I guess, is not something that most people survive.
Right.
whatever one he had. So he's like, my whole life, he said that the bullet that killed his teacher came from directly behind him. So he felt like it missed him just barely.
Oh my God.
And he
Jeez.
talked about, like,
That-
they're all in tears talking about making this show because they thought it was going to be the last time they'd see their friend.
Scott, yeah.
And he said that his entire life, he felt like that bullet was chasing him. And the moment he was diagnosed, it basically said, you're going to die. He goes, that bullet caught up with me. And he said that this was like the most emotional show or thing he had ever done, is because he goes, this is going to be it. This will be the last thing I do. And luckily, somehow, not only did he survive a school shooting, he survives this crazy cancer and is still around talking about it. So that's that's fucking phenomenal. And unfortunately, we don't hear stories like that enough.
No.
Usually, it's got more depressing and
morose and. Ugh. But no, I'm glad that Scott survived. It's like it's horrible that happened, especially way back then too. That because it was such an uncommon thing back in those days.
Yeah. You hear about it in America all the time now, but for Canada in 1975, how fucking bizarre. So, I mean, condolences to everyone involved with the recent tragedy.
Yeah,
we won't go into much, but
and also
we all
Buffalo.
know that terrible fucking things happen all the time. So it's nice that good news comes out of something once in a while.
Correct.
I'm speaking of cancer, though. I'm excited to see Norm's new special on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that too. Yeah,
he recorded. This was a year or two before Norm even died.
Mm-hmm.
He had recorded something in his own home, a comedy special in front of his computer, and he was going in for some routine surgery or something involving that, though, I think, and he wasn't sure if he was going to make it.
Yeah, so he decided to make this.
He recorded it, and now that he is dead, this was 2 years after that it was recorded, I think, though. It's now being released on Netflix, so.
Excellent. I think that wraps up this this episode as far as Kids in the Hall, Death Comes to Town. Did you want to give any, as far as upcoming things, or we'll let that kind of, we'll let people find out?
I think we can say that we're going to go way back for the next episode.
Way back.
Amos and Andy. This is a show that I've literally just seen for the first time in the last 2 weeks or so. I've watched a few of them on YouTube. I'm sure it's probably so old it's in public domain by now. But I was just kind of, we've been kind of dabbling in the African American shows, sitcoms and stuff. And I was kind of like, what was the first big one? And this was what came up. And I'd only heard about it, I think.
Well, I believe it was a radio show first.
It was a radio program. Yep. And it was turned into a show, I think, in the early 50s is what these are from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those where I don't know any of these people. So it's all fresh eyes. A lot of sitcoms we'll visit and we'll go, I've never seen the show, but I know this person or I know this person.
Exactly. You know from something else.
I don't know any of these people. Yeah. And then we're going to be rounding out, we'll save the next show after that. For next episode, we'll discuss that a little further.
But we're almost to the end of season 1, we'll say.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up our first season here and do a couple little fun surprises for you, for the last 2 especially. So,
we thank you. To it.
We thank you for joining us on this. I can't believe it's almost been a year already.
I know, time flies. Well, if you want to find us, you can find Jay at twitch.tv/BidwellFog, and you can find me at twitch.tv/netnick191. You can
follow our Facebook page at facebook.com/sitcommyface. We do have a Twitter account. We don't do much with it, but it is sitcommyface on Twitter.
Right.
My Twitter is BidwellFog. I tend to share all the episodes there too, so if you're interested, you can follow me there.
And we do have an email. Yeah, sitcommyface@gmail.com.
So, if you want to throw us some recommendations for next season,
what would you guys like to see?
Do you want to see some sequel series to the things we've maybe covered? Maybe hit some Phyllis or some Rhoda or some Fuller House?
Some spin-offs and or
some Joey.
Oh no, let's not go there. No, at some point we'll go there, just because like glutton for punishment, I guess.
If you want more of my full frontal nudity, you just got to say it. So.
Yep, we're here to please. And until next time.
Sitcom my face.